Hello and welcome back to the Slasher Siblings podcast. I'm your host Hayden because we haven't done this in like 4 episodes.
What? Announced our names?
Yeah.
Yeah, I noticed that too.
And
I'm
this
Cicely.
is my co-host. This week we're talking about the movie Blood Rage for Thanksgiving because it happened during Thanksgiving. It came out in 1987. It's rated R. It's an hour and 22 minutes and it got a 5.8 on IMDb.
I think that's too high.
I actually kind of think it's too low. We'll get there. Anyway, she looked at me like I'm an idiot. A boy kills a man and accuses his twin brother of the murder, and the innocent brother ends up institutionalized while his psychotic twin goes free. 10 years later, the innocent twin escapes, which triggers his brother to kill again. So this is definitely a movie that I would say that everyone should watch at least once. It's not like, please do not ever watch this movie because it was horrible, but it wasn't good. It wasn't great.
It wasn't fucking great.
No.
I think
But it
everybody needs to watch it at least once.
Yeah, it was a decent movie.
It was okay.
It wasn't horrible.
And it was okay.
There's some scenes that I did like, and there were some things that I did like, and we'll talk about that. So I do like the eerie opening shot with like the slasher and the music and stuff right in that beginning, like the title card and stuff like that.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
That was pretty. That was
Pretty
very
rad.
80s.
Yeah.
Very 80s horror. It was a very 80s feel to that kind of opening. And then all of a sudden, my next thing is that it turns very 80s, as in like the way everyone's like acting at the drive-in and like the way people are walking and dressing and all that other stuff. Like
Yeah.
you can tell that this is an 80s movie just by, you know, how they're acting and dressed and all that other stuff.
The aesthetic.
The aesthetic was the reason why this turned very 80s. I have written here, but I'm going to save that for last because it's a fear fact. So I'll just mark that last. I did think it was funny that the mom didn't notice the car lights turn on when the boys escaped from the car
They didn't
while they were
notice
making out.
shit.
Yeah, they did not realize that both the boys got out and opened the doors and the lights came on.
They
So
were
that's
too
kind of a
into it.
continuity error
They
there.
were too into the makeout sesh.
I guess, but you wouldn't notice the
They
lights?
were really into it.
I
I
guess.
don't know.
Also, here's the thing that I'm kind of confused about is when Terry set up Todd, no one noticed that it wasn't him? Because some people saw him give him the axe and then wipe the blood all over him and then blame him.
At
No one
first,
said anything?
I thought he was blaming like somebody completely different. Like I didn't realize that's what was going on.
Yeah.
And I didn't catch that until they're like, Todd's in his school. And I was like, oh. I thought they were like, help, somebody else besides us did
Did it.
this. Yeah.
Yeah, but he handed him the axe and then wiped the blood all over his face and on his body and was like, oh, Todd did it. Like,
Apparently nobody noticed, I guess.
there was like 30 people there. No, not a single
No.
one of them was like, no, that kid just did it. And
this
then wiped.
motherfucker just wiped blood on his brother.
Yeah, like you didn't. Okay, all right.
Idiot.
And then we see grown-up Terry. He's very weird. He's at Thanksgiving,
yeah.
popped up collar with a tie. He's strange. And
He's a freak.
At this point, the acting is terrible. It's not very good at all.
The mother is just awful all around. I mean, I really relate. I mean, I get the thing she does, but she's just such a bad actress.
And I'll be fair, the acting gets better as the movie goes on.
It does.
It definitely does, but it's not
the
any.
mom. She
no.
does not get better at any point in the movie.
Some of them were just off the wall bad.
Yeah.
But Terry got better. You know, as
Terry
it
was
went
the
on.
best one in the movie, I think.
He definitely was not good at the beginning
No.
with the knife, handing it to the boyfriend and all that other.
He's like,
he was
lol, here.
yeah, that was
Take
just
the knife.
bad acting. And then he got better. And then I want to talk about the scene that Todd escapes. So they don't really explain why he escapes or how or anything like that. It's
They
just
just said,
he just
"He's
got
out."
out. Yeah. So I kind of like the mystery to that. Like,
Yeah.
I kind of like not knowing how he got out. Because I mean, in all reality, he was innocent anyway. But it's still a fact that like, how did he get out?
No
So
one
it's
knows.
that's kind of cool.
I think it's funny how they had literally 2 people looking for him.
Yeah, that too.
From
Instead
the
of
mental
like
institution.
50.
They had the doctor with a purse running through the woods and like a sweater tied around her neck. And then they had some douchebag, like frat boy,
yeah,
running
helping
through
her.
the woods with like a tranquilizer gun.
Yeah.
Like they thought that was the team. They're like, yeah, you two, go out,
This
get
is
him.
the A team.
This is the fucking A team. Like,
They'll get him back if
They'll
if
get
they
him.
can't, no one can.
oh
Um,
my god. God.
No, that just, like, how did he escape kind of leaves that mystery in my mind.
He literally probably just walked out the fucking
He
door.
might have. The way that
It seems like the security team is just...
just as bad as the search team. But to continue on that is that in that scene, while we don't know how he escaped, we see, like, we kind of follow him, Todd, and we see by just the way that he's acting, he's like walking real slow and timid and scared.
Yeah.
It's very obvious that he didn't kill anybody.
Yeah.
I mean, if we didn't know that Terry did it, it was clearly obvious that, you know, it was not him.
Oh, you could tell just by
It's
the way
just
they
the way
were
he was.
acting.
Yeah. And this is kind of where the point that Terry started acting better than he was in the beginning. When Terry was like stalking the boyfriend and the boyfriend was in his apartment or whatever it was called, he owns that apartment building and stuff. But before I say this, I kind of thought it was funny that the mom came out and was just like, "What is with that gun?" Like, that was such an awful.
What is the gun?
What is that? Like, the
was
way
like, it's
she
a fucking
screamed
gun.
it, like, it was so
Chill.
bad. That's
It was
another.
awful.
That was
That was
awful.
awful.
Yes, but
And when she got a phone call during the dinner, she literally shut the shutters like to the kitchen from the dining room.
yeah.
Like that was gonna cancel out the noise.
Yeah. When Terry was stalking the boyfriend, we noticed something. I noticed it when I was watching it, and she noticed it as she was watching it. Is there was an MC Escher picture on the wall, like a painting thing. Our dad had that exact same one. It was he was sitting there and he was holding like a orb, and he painted or whatever he did, drew his reflection in that orb. And our dad had that picture on the wall for like probably 20 years of our life,
Yeah.
just hanging
As
on
soon
the
as
wall.
I saw it, I was like,
Oh wait, I know that
and
picture.
you were like, yeah, yep,
We'll talk about it.
yep, that's it.
The next thing I want to talk about is that the gore is actually pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty gory.
The boyfriend's hand gets cut off.
With the beer in it.
With the beer in it. The doctor's body getting cut in half.
That was wicked. Yeah.
The douche with the machete through his chest. The chick's boyfriend with his head hanging in front of the peephole. And whenever the mom goes to see her boyfriend and she touches him and his head falls forward and his brain is just there. That was actually some pretty good like effects for the gore.
The brain part was nasty.
That was disgusting.
I was
yeah.
like, ooh, that got me.
For 1987, that's pretty good.
Did
and I
you-
mean, this movie obviously takes some inspiration from Halloween.
Yeah.
You can see it right from the beginning.
Yeah,
that
the beginning. Yeah.
He kills her for no reason, no apparent reason at all, and that's basically what Michael Myers did. And it's very clear that they watched Halloween and were like, I have some ideas for my own movie that's kind of similar to Halloween. So I mean, it's a good formula. I don't know how many times you can do that though.
Did you notice when the mom was coming to look for her boyfriend, she was banging on the sliding glass door,
And then
she
it
was
just
like,
opened.
It
And then
opens.
she opens. Yeah, like she's sitting there for like
She's
5
like
minutes.
banging on it, and then she's like, "Let me try to open it."
And then she opens it, and then like she's like yelling at the dead body, like,
And then
"Why
she's
didn't you
like,
pick up the
"What?
phone?"
I was calling you. The boyfriend is obviously sitting there dead.
Yeah, and then he's like, he's dead, and then she's talking to him, yelling at him, like, "Why didn't you pick up the phone? I called you over and over again." And then she like looks around and then just stares at him. And I swear that stare went on for like 3 minutes. Not really, it was more like 45 seconds, but like she just stood there staring at him for the longest time. And I just was like, is this ever gonna end? It was like the longest stare ever.
This lady is just so oblivious.
And then she pokes him and his like
The head
hits
falls
the
off.
desk and his brain pops out. But like it really bothered me. Like you said, she's banging on the glass and then she yells at him and then she stares at him for a good almost minute. She just stood there and didn't move. And I was just like, is this ever going to end today? Like, is this the rest of the movie, her staring at a dead body, or what?
With her hair slicked back. Like
With her hair
that,
slicked back, yeah.
in a robe. Her hair was awful.
But as far as the movie goes, the gore
Yeah.
was really good.
Back to that.
The special effects of all the killing and everything was actually really good. A line that I've heard before. I've definitely heard this line before as like a joke in like the community or something. But I think it's funny that he said it a bunch in the movie. It's not cranberry sauce.
He said it like 6 times.
I know he did. It's so funny
He's
that
like, that's not cranberry sauce.
that's such a corny line. Obviously, it's not cranberry sauce.
He was saying it to, I think his name was Artie, and he
Yeah.
was he picked up the machete, and he's like, "That's not cranberry sauce." And
That
then
is
they're
not
just,
cranberry
and then
sauce.
they're
He
just
said-
staring at it, and then he's like, "Yeah, that's not cranberry sauce." I was like, "Okay."
He said it once in the bathroom when he was before he got the
God.
shower. Like
He
that's
said
such
it
a corny
so
line.
many times. I was like, oh my god.
Who wrote that line? It was like, oh, this is it.
Add that
That's
in.
a good line.
Oh, do it again. Right there. Say it twice.
Do it one more time.
One
I think
more
he said it. I think if you count it, he says it 5 times in the whole movie.
Yeah, for sure.
For sure.
Because he kept saying it. I was like, what is this
What
guy
is-
keep saying?
This is not a very good line. I like the scene where Todd's helping the little girl.
Oh yeah, I like that.
He's like,
that was
well,
wholesome.
you know, cats have their way of finding their way back home. Why don't you just go home and wait? And make sure you don't let anybody in because there's a crazy dude. I really like that scene.
Yeah, that shows you that he was the good one.
It was very obvious that he was the good one.
Yeah, but
Espe- if-
that was like confirming it.
Yeah,
I was like,
that was-
okay.
all right,
He
well,
cares about this little girl.
yeah.
Tells her to go home and lock the door. That's nice.
And the very next thing I have written kind of plays off of that last one was the girl did not let Karen in.
She said, I don't care who you are.
You're gonna hurt my kitty.
You're gonna hurt my kitty. I said, period, babe.
Go away. I like that because a lot of
Period.
movies are like, go inside, lock the doors, don't let anyone in, no matter what anyone says, whatever. And then like someone will come pounding on the door and they're like,
let 'em
who
in.
is it? Oh, okay, come on in. Like,
It's because the little girl's smart. She cares about her cat.
yeah, she was smart. And the person who always lets them in ends up letting the killer in the house and ends up dying. It's just, it is a nice change of pace from letting every killer in. They're just like, no, I don't care who you are.
Yep.
Go away.
I'm
My
glad-
cat's in here.
I'm glad they let that girl live. That was
I
cute.
also want to know what happened to the cat. Where's the cat?
I'm
This is
gonna
the true
assume
question.
That it came back home.
I'm going to
It
assume
is
that too. But
Drinking
I wanted
water
confirmation.
and eating tuna with the little girl, and they're sitting there watching TV right now.
I wanted confirmation. I wanted to know where that cat was. I'm mad that the movie
I'm glad
didn't
they
tell
didn't
me.
like do a scene where he was killing it. I would have.
Yeah, I would have been pretty mad. I was like, you put that in there for no reason.
Come on, that wasn't necessary.
That was unnecessary. Something I did like about Terry being a killer is that every time you see him and he's obviously killing, he goes, hi. I think
Hi.
that's just so funny. I
He
don't
definitely had the killer like look
That's
to his
true.
face.
Yeah, he did. But it was just so funny that like he would just show up and go, hi. And he would just like walk towards you.
I know.
Kind of like Michael Myers.
Yeah.
That's another inspiration. But he was just like, he was hopping on the diving board and said it. And then he said he got the dead body and like scared her with it. And he goes, hi. And he starts laughing and stuff. Like, I just thought that was kind of funny.
I think that combined with like no sense of urgency throughout the whole movie. Like she had no sense of urgency. Like she was just walking through, a killer's chasing me, but no rush.
She would run and then she would stop and
Like literally just walk through the door like I would.
yeah.
Like hurry up.
Lock
Hurry
the
up.
door and run.
Put a little fucking pep in your step. God. Then she shoved the baby in the cabinet. Like
And the blanket was still poking out.
yeah, left the fucking blanket hanging out. Like he could have easily been like, oh, that's the baby.
I mean, to be fair, I don't think he was really trying to kill the baby anyway, because he could have when he killed the mom. But
Still
still,
though.
still the point. You hide the whole baby,
Hide the whole baby.
not
Like she
just.
just shoved it under the sink and left the cabinet cracked open. Like,
He
you'll be
didn't. To be
alright.
fair, he didn't. She didn't shove it. She lightly placed him.
Nah, she shoved
Sticking
that bitch
halfway
in there.
out of the sink cabinet. She should have shoved the blanket in there further.
Yes.
That ending was pretty much the only way that this movie could have ended. Like him chasing all of them and fighting with Todd and the mom finding out and shooting him and everything. Like there was no real way other than the way that they did it. So I understand like why they ended it that way, because there wasn't really too many ways that they could end it. Because it would either be he gets killed by the mom, because obviously Todd was too scared, Karen didn't have the gun, or he was just going to kill Todd and Karen and then go after the mom and then kind of turn into like a series of like Halloween. And let's be honest, I'm glad that didn't turn into a series. I definitely would not want a Blood Rage 2. I don't know if
No.
there is a Blood Rage 2.
I hope there is.
But this is a movie that everyone should see once, but I'm glad
Yeah.
it didn't spawn sequels.
Yeah, like definitely check it out.
He's definitely not a bad killer though. The rest of the movie wasn't
He
very
was
great.
The best character. The
In the
killer
movie, yeah.
was the best character in the movie. I did have a lot of thoughts. It's quite comical to watch.
Yeah, that definitely is.
It does have some gory scenes, but it is actually really funny to watch. So I think everybody should watch it. But keep your expectations low, and then take that and make them lower.
And then the next thing is that the mom's suicide was completely unexpected.
Oh yeah.
Like, I get that, she thought, Todd was the killer the whole time, and she just spent 10 years living with her other son, who she thought was not the killer, and then all of a sudden, he's the killer. I get
Yeah.
it, but like,
Don't shoot yourself.
man, I was
You have
not
a whole other
expecting her to
son.
go out that way.
You have a whole other son who's
Yeah.
normal. Give him a chance. I think she was fucking crazy too.
Oh yeah, she definitely was.
Like, he got the cuckoo from her.
Also that ending, it leaves you like, I don't know what happened, because there's the whole thing where Todd needs to be cleared, you know, that he wasn't crazy for the last 10 years, that Terry killed him. Or would they have gone the route where they thought that Terry was pretending to be, or Todd was pretending to be Terry, or what, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there was a lot of options, which I'm glad, you know, isn't spawning a sequel and explore those options. But
Yeah, we don't.
I kind of wish it would have told me, like, just even in writing on the screen, say, oh, Todd goes on to clear his name and blah, blah, blah. Even if it was like a 2-sentence, like, Todd was cleared, or Todd's
Even if there's
name...
just a brief description at the end. Todd's fine.
Yeah,
He's
Todd's
not
fine.
crazy.
He's not crazy. Even that, I would have been like, oh, okay.
Okay, cool.
I would have
The
rated
cat
it.
is alive.
And the cat.
So is the baby.
And so is the baby. I would have at least given it a tiny bit higher score than what I did.
Yeah, same.
So I'll move on to, so why don't we talk about what you thought about the movie? Did you like some scenes and stuff and whatnot?
I like the aesthetic, obviously.
Obviously.
I really did not enjoy the mom, if you can't tell by this point.
Right.
I just think she was fucking nuts. I also think she was not the best actress in the world.
Definitely true. Not the best.
She
Not
was
awful.
just
I don't think she was
so
awful.
bad. I think she was
I don't
just
think
so
she was
bad.
good, but I don't think she was awful. Because
Like-
I've seen worse actors.
I don't know, something about her. I was just like, oh, okay, you're fucking crazy. Maybe that's how she's supposed to act. Then,
Maybe.
If so, she did a good fucking job.
Yeah, if that's exactly what they wanted.
Yeah, if that's what they wanted her to do, she did a great fucking job. I liked it in the sense of that it made me laugh. Like, it's not a movie I'm gonna go out of my way to watch again.
No, I'm definitely not going out of my way either. If someone says, "Hey, do you want to watch this? Do you want to watch Blood Rage?"
I'd be like, you know what?
Why
I'm
not?
good.
It's not bad, but
I'm not gonna do it.
I'm not paying attention. Sorry, I already watched it once. I don't
Yeah.
need to again.
I didn't hate it, but I definitely I don't know why I'm judging it so hard. It was just so ridiculous. I think that's
It definitely
why.
was.
It's a very ridiculous
Really,
movie.
the only good part was the killing part.
Yeah, like the best part about it was the murder.
Yeah,
That's it.
that's it. Really.
Everything else, you just sit there and you're like, what the fuck? Like, what the fuck?
I mean,
just
it was
happened?
very 80s
What did I
campy.
just watch?
It was very 80s corny,
Yes, very.
campy movie. Like,
Very.
yeah.
And like nobody had a sense of urgency, which also bothered me because I'm
Yeah.
like, come on, hurry up! And they're like, I'm getting chased by a murderer. No big deal. So yeah,
Yeah, it was very like, oh, the stereotype, like the girls who are always getting killed in movies, they never seem to want to run away from the killer.
yeah,
They're
she
just
wasn't
kinda-
running. She was
She
walking.
was not at all.
She
Really.
actually wasn't even like walking fast. She was just chilling. She's like, ugh.
She was running when she
Terry.
was outside, and then when she got inside building, she like leisurely went
She
through the doorway.
dilly-dallied in. Like,
Yeah.
she literally was like, oh, Terry's up to his shit again.
Yeah,
Like,
it wasn't a very urgent
Yeah.
movie. It doesn't seem.
I like the concept of the movie. Like, okay, in the beginning, these kids sneak out,
Mm-hmm.
one kills, and then the other gets accused.
Mm-hmm.
Years later, they're back. Da-da-da-da. I really like the story. Like, I thought if, you know, maybe this was like, maybe they made this movie today, or...
So you're saying you want a reboot?
I'm saying... No. I'm saying if it was directed by somebody else now, I think it could be potentially a scary movie. Or even a good movie at that matter.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, I think it had the potential to be a good movie, but it just wasn't.
It definitely wasn't. No, it wasn't great.
Like, it definitely looked like they had a budget of like
$50.
$20. And they're like, alright, what can we do, guys? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I did not like that they all lived in the same fucking apartment complex. Like,
Really?
it felt like a motel. Felt like they were all in a motel just chilling.
The rooms did kind of look like
It was very, like, the
motel.
setup was weird.
a kind of fear fact. I didn't write it down, but it was filmed at the University of Northern Florida.
Oh.
So those are technically dorm rooms.
Their dorm rooms?
Technically, because that was at the actual university.
Yeah, I didn't really like how they were all neighbors. I shouldn't like, it was just weird. I don't think I've ever seen that before. Like, they all live wall to wall.
Yeah, like Graham, Rayanne.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, I guess.
I guess you're right. Whatever. It was just weird.
Yeah.
It's not like he had to run far
Yeah, it was,
to get places. Like, he was just walking next door.
he just like went across the yard.
Yeah. He's like, ah, okay.
That's a killer's paradise, I guess.
I guess that was ideal for him. I did not enjoy the part where Todd put his doctor back together.
Yeah, that
when
was.
she was chopped in half. He said,
Man.
you know what, I'm gonna try to.
I mean, I
set
feel
this
bad
back
because that's the only person that actually believed that he was innocent, but.
Yeah, when he like moved her legs over to her torso.
Hmm.
It's like, no, don't touch that.
He was like, I know you believed me, but
Leave
why
it
didn't you
alone.
do anything?
Yeah.
I was like, you're touching it.
Yeah,
probably not
maybe you shouldn't
good.
do that.
Probably not good for you to be there, so I know you feel bad,
like-
but don't touch it and get out of there.
Yeah, just
Because
just
people are going to think you did
skedaddle.
it. Why don't you go find your brother who's covered in the blood?
Yeah, in the cranberry sauce.
In the cranberry sauce, yeah.
I did not enjoy the diving board sex scene.
Yeah, that was why.
Like, okay, they were gonna have sex on the tennis court, right? And then she was like, no, not here. I have a better idea.
The
And then
diving
the
board?
diving board at the public pool?
That's so
Go
stupid.
to a bedroom.
You literally have your own
You
apartment.
all live in the same apartment complex. Go to one of your houses. Why are you fucking with the diving board?
That's a good question.
When I saw that, I was like, no.
This is stupid.
That-
You're bad, Greg.
Like, I already didn't want to go to a public pool. Now I really don't want to go to a public pool.
And it was also funny that he's just like, oh, you're bad, Greg.
You're bad. Chops his head off.
I can
was
see
like,
what they were
the
trying to
fuck?
do. They were trying to give him like catchphrases and quirky one-liners
You're
and stuff.
Bad, Greg. You're a little bad boy, Greg.
That was just weird. That was so weird.
I was like, okay.
We get it.
Stop talking, Terry. Everything he said was cringy.
Yeah,
What was the other thing he said? There's a lot.
there was a lot, yeah.
I was just like, ugh, Terry. You're gonna be a serial killer. Just shut
And
your
everything the
fucking mouth.
mom said was super weird too.
Everything the mom said was bizarre.
Because there was a time she was on the phone and she's like, "Get me my boyfriend." Do you
Give me my boyfriend! I was like, okay, girl.
do you think the
Chill.
operator on the telephone knows who your boyfriend is?
Yeah.
Do you think she knows who you
She
are?
definitely had some mental issues. Like,
Oh,
I
don't do
mean,
this to me. Please don't. Who are you talking to?
She was
They already hung up
literally
the phone.
drinking wine in every other scene, and then she passed out in one scene, which I get, okay. But then you like, okay, it'll go to the random like murder scenes, and then it just comes back to her like stuffing her face with mac and cheese,
Sitting on the floor.
and green beans on the floor with the fridge open, and I'm just like, what does this have to do with anything? Just shows that she's weird as fuck.
That she has mental problems.
Like, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, everything she did was just so bizarre.
Very.
I was like, what is this lady doing? What is she doing? And then she killed Terry that she thought was Todd. She thought Todd was Terry. Like, she wanted to kill Todd.
Yeah, and you can't tell your twins apart?
Yeah, what's wrong with you?
I get it. He was in the institution for 10 years, but like
he
you went to
had,
see
like,
him all the
wet-
time.
He had like stringy hair.
Yeah, they
And
did.
Terry-
They had two different
Terry
hairdos.
had like a blowout, and Todd had like wet, scrunched hair.
Yes, and not only that, you still saw Todd
Yeah.
all the time
How do
apparently
you
from
not, how
the
do you
line
not
in the
know
movie.
the difference?
Yeah.
I knew the difference, and I'm watching the fucking movie.
And I get that, you know, Terry changes his shirt all the time, but you didn't know what they were wearing.
He changed outfits like 30 times.
Well, he
the
kept
whole
getting
movie.
blood on his shirt.
So he kept changing it.
Yeah.
And then he would just throw it in the garbage can like it's nothing.
Yeah, that didn't make any sense to me. He threw it in the kitchen garbage can
With
that
no
didn't have a
bag.
bag in it. And then
It
she
had
was
no
throwing
bag.
she was throwing bad food into it that had no bag.
Like, there's something wrong with this. I was like, put a fucking garbage can liner in. Put a bag in the garbage can. Anyway, I think that just goes to show. I think even from the beginning, the mom looked like she was like 60 years old making out with like a 25-year-old guy.
Yeah, right
That
in the
was
beginning.
Weird.
That was weird. It was they didn't try to cover up that she was like
Old.
And,
And, like-
it's not like the woman was old or anything. She was like
she looked significantly older than the guy she was kissing.
in that beginning scene, and it was
Yeah.
supposed to be 10 years earlier. She
Yeah.
did not look 10 years
She did
younger.
not look 10 years younger at all.
Actually, 10 years later, she kind of looked younger than she did in the beginning.
like,
Weirdly.
it was so weird. And then they start making out in the drive-in with the kids, quote, quote, sleeping in the back. She's like, I don't feel comfortable doing this. And he's like, nah, they're sleeping. It's cool. That's when they snuck out. She didn't notice. And then he was like, you know what? I don't dig chicks with kids. And then
No,
they turn
no.
around.
What he says,
What did he
and
say?
the line bothers me because he goes, "I really don't like going.
He says dig.
I don't really dig chicks that bring their kids everywhere, or that bring their kids around with them everywhere. It's like, what do you want her to do with them? She has 2 kids. You want her
Couldn't
just
get
to
a
leave them at
sitter.
home? They're like
Couldn't get a
6 years
sitter.
old.
I don't
Not
understand.
really, but-
What did you notice that they were laying in the back, like laying down with a gun over their legs?
It was
Did
a
you
toy
notice
plastic
that?
gun.
Okay, I
it
wasn't
was-
sure. I couldn't tell the difference. I
No, it
was
was
like,
just
why
a
the
plastic
fuck
toy gun.
is there a gun? Like, what is from the start? I was like, what the fuck?
And like he didn't use that. He used the axe. Like
Yeah.
if it was a real one, you know what I mean?
And he just walks over to the car and starts staring at them having sex, just smiling, just smiling.
He's
And I
like,
was
"Get
like,
out of here, kid!" And he gets an
he's
axe
like,
to the eyeball.
"Scram! Get gone.
It still
go!"
doesn't
And
explain-
he just keeps going, and I'm like, what the fuck?
It still doesn't explain like why he did that.
No, he just got out of the car and said, you know what? Let's go fuck someone up. And then I'm gonna blame my brother.
Yeah, it's strange scenes. You have anything else?
No.
All right.
I
Well,
don't
I'll
think
start
so.
with the fear facts now. I'm gonna be honest. There was a short list, so I had not too many interesting ones to pick from. But we'll go with these ones. The original name of this movie before it was Blood Rage, which I kind of like this original title better than
Yeah.
Blood Rage. Was Slasher.
Oh.
That's why in the beginning the title card says Slasher, because that was the original name and they changed it for some reason. I kind of
Blood
like
Rage.
Slasher better than Blood Rage.
I feel like Slasher's too good of a title for that movie.
That is true. It also had a title in like other countries. It was like The Nightmare in Shadow Woods or something like that. Yeah, that's what it was. Nightmare in Shadow Woods.
Okay.
That was like other countries. America, it was Blood Rage.
Okay.
It's just,
There's blood and he's raging, I guess.
I guess. The twins, Terry and Todd, had the same actor, which kind of gave them points for me because you could tell the difference. It was the same dude for both Todd and Terry,
Uh-huh.
but you could actually tell in the movie who was who. Like different clothing, the hair
Yeah.
was slicked back, Todd had the scrunchy hair. Like they did that very well, I think.
They did, yeah.
That's why I scored it a tiny bit higher than what IMDb gave it. The actress for the doctor didn't show up to set, so
Oh.
they replaced her with the doctor in the movie. The actress who does the doctor in the movie. Couldn't tell you
Was she a
why they
rando?
didn't. No, I don't know who she was, but she wasn't very good either.
No.
So she wasn't that bad when you first meet her, but then there was the scene in the woods, like she's just staring at Terry walk towards her with her mouth like unnecessarily wide
Yeah.
and screaming. Like she had more than enough time to run
While
away.
holding a purse.
While holding a purse, yeah. But the original actress for the doctor just didn't show up,
Oh,
so they
okay.
replaced her. The director and Maddie, which is the mom, had tension. They like didn't get along through the whole movie. Kind of feel the director's pain with her because she was not a
I
very
get
good
it.
actress. I kind of get
I
it.
kind of get it.
And that would probably go into my next one, was that it was shot in 83, but it wasn't released until 87. I kind of think that the tension between the two of them kind of made that such a long process, probably. And there was probably
They had
like
beef.
they had beef, and then there was probably like some red tape they had to get around or something. So for my next fear fact, do you remember in the beginning the condom salesman?
Yes.
That was Ted Raimi.
Which is.
You remember back on Evil Dead 2, Sam Raimi directed Evil Dead 2?
Yeah.
And Ted Raimi was Henrietta.
Okay.
That was Ted
Okay.
Raimi. He was 19 years old.
Wow.
That's the one I was saving for last earlier, because the condom salesman was Ted Raimi, Sam Raimi's brother, who was
Okay.
Henrietta in Evil Dead 2.
Okay.
For the last one, it's kind of a boring one, but it's also interesting at the same time. Nike was like the main brand in the movie,
I could tell.
and every time you see the Nike brand, it's like very obvious. There was no information that I could find of why. I don't know if maybe Nike was a sponsor of the movie. I don't see why they
Maybe.
would, or I don't know what the thing was, but Nike was a very prominent brand in this movie, and it was very obvious that it was in this movie because every time you did see it, it was out in the open right in the center. That's all for my fear facts today.
Nice, nice, nice.
I would give this movie a 6.5 out of 10. It's not much higher than what IMDb gave it, but it's still not going any higher than that. Now, 5.1 is fair if you take out the gore and then the fact that the acting did get better and the story was decent. So if you take those into account, I give it a little bit higher. Also, it did give it a little bit of an extra point because of the way it ended, because I could only really think of it ending that way, that Terry died and the mom was the one to do it and all that other stuff, but it definitely didn't get any higher because it was terrible acting in the beginning and some of the lines were just like very corny, really bad lines. But all in all, it's definitely a movie that I would say you need to watch at least one time in your life if you're, a big horror fan.
Yeah.
I'm definitely glad I got to watch it at least one time. Not that I probably will watch it again, but this is what this is about, to expand, our
horizon.
Our horror resume here. But one's good enough. You don't need to see it twice. What do you think?
I'm gonna give it a 4.5.
Okay. Because of the mom?
Yeah. Like, she
Mom was
really
not
just
good.
bothered me.
Yeah.
Like, I basically just shit on her this whole podcast, but
She wasn't
deserves
great.
it. I would definitely say check it out just for shits and gigs.
Emphasis on the gigs.
I had a good time watching it, so I was like, this is so, like, ridiculous
That it's funny.
that it's funny. Like, it's comical, but it's still, like, there were still some parts of the movie that made me go, ugh, that was gross. So, yeah, definitely watch it, but like I said earlier, lower your expectations. And it's a 4.5 for me. It's a 4.5. I'm glad I watched it, though. I don't regret it.
Yeah, I definitely don't regret this one. The only movie I've ever really regretted was Rubber, and Tusk too, yeah.
Rubber
but at
sounds
least
better than Tusk.
I don't know.
We're gonna have to watch that.
We're gonna have to watch both, but
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
really regretting, like, because December is when we're gonna start the bad movies and the recommendations and stuff. And
Tusk
I'm
was
just
a
like,
waste of time.
yes, and I'm just dreading watching like Tusk and Rubber and all these really
what was
awful
Justin
movies.
Long thinking?
I don't know. I mean, maybe he just needed the money, but like, that's not looking for your.
Does he need the money? Like, he's pretty.
It's not looking good. It doesn't look good on his acting credits. That's for sure. Tusk, that
I
probably.
just want to know his, like, did he lose a bet?
I don't know. I don't know.
I just want to know.
I want to call him. Can we call him? Be like, hey,
Does
Justin
anyone know
Long.
Justin Long?
Why? What's with?
What Tusk?
What's with Tusk? Why'd you do
like,
that?
He has Dodgeball, and, like, he's in New Girl. He's so good at
Barbarian,
New Girl.
that new horror movie that I haven't
but
seen yet, but
you haven't seen it? I watched it.
he was, from the clips I saw and from what I hear, he was excellent.
Yeah.
He is a very good actor,
I
but
don't
man,
like his
Tusk is
character in
awful.
that movie, but yeah, he did a good job.
So this ends our Thanksgiving and November
Yeah.
movies, but the holidays are, still, we're halfway through the holidays of, Halloween, Thanksgiving, and Christmas all mashed into 3 months. We're going right into December with Gremlins as our first movie, and it'll
I'm
be our
so
10th
excited.
episode. It'll be
It's gonna be so cute.
it's gonna be a good episode talking about the Gremlins, and plus it's our 10th, so it's kind of a special. It means we've been doing this for 10 weeks. We're still having
Nice.
fun. We still have people listening. I don't really care if no one listens. I
Yeah,
kind of like
it's
just
cool.
doing this. It's kind of cool just to watch the movies and talk about them. But 10th episode, that's pretty cool.
It's pretty rad.
We have movies lined up, and like we said before, Christmas is going to be our first guest, and this is going to be a good month for movies. We got some good ones, and we have a brand new one coming out on, I believe, the 16th that we're going to go to the movies and watch it, and we're going to talk about it on the podcast. It's a David Harbour Santa Claus horror movie, which should be pretty cool, and I believe that's right before Christmas, so we'll talk about it. And
It looks pretty good. I watched it.
it does look actually pretty good. But yeah, that's all I got for this episode. Do you have any closing thoughts?
Nope, you guys should watch it and
At least one time.
Let us know what you think.
That's another thing. I kind of want to start posting on our Facebook saying, like, the Conjuring's discussion. Leave comments
Yeah.
of what you thought about the movie
That'd be
below.
Cool. That'd be cool.
So maybe for Blood Rage,
'Cause I
it
feel
can be
like
the first one because neither of us have seen it.
I would be shocked if somebody's like, yeah, watch that.
I would be shocked, and I would also be shocked if someone went and was like, hey, I watched that movie, Blood Rage, that was on your podcast.
You got a bad review, but I watched it. No, you guys should watch it.
Yeah,
like, it's
watch
pretty
it and
funny.
then let us know what you think.
Yeah.
And then I think maybe for Gremlins, we'll start doing this discussion. Just comment on a random thing on our Facebook. Maybe I'll put next week's episode as Blood Rage, and then just comment what you thought if you've seen it or if you want to go see it. It's free on Tubi. So that's all I got. That's all she's got.
Yep,
We'll talk to you next week with Gremlins.
I'm super stoked for Gremlins.
I'm pretty excited for that too. It's a good movie.
So stinking cute. I know it's supposed to be scary, but I think Gizmo's adorable.
Well, with that, we'll catch you later.
Catch you later.